So, No Pressure FC 3, one of the worst Chelsea teams we've ever seen in our life, won. The only surprise, Kenny, the only surprise is that we didn't absolutely destroy them because they were there for the taking, mate. They didn't care tonight. What did you make of that being at the game, mate?
I'll tell you one thing, right? Before we got to the stadium was as flat as a pancake. Everyone was depressed. You know, people were upset. Everyone had this kind of resignation that everything's gone. And it didn't seem like an Arsenal-Chelsea game. And I was even talking to some friends of ours who are Chelsea fans who know us very well. And they were saying, bemoaning the fact how bad they were as well. And, you know, it's one of those things where you look at the game and we punched them for every mistake. And that first half, the goals we scored were fantastic. You know, 2 great goals, 2 great assists by Xhaka, and then a scrambled effort by, Jesus. And then you think, you know what? As we said off air, they didn't want to know. Sterling, made a few token, like I said, runs down the right, but his final ball was Sterling-esque. And then you had, Kante was showing a bit of endeavour, but I can't say the same for anyone else in that attacking team. Aubameyang, I don't know what's happened to him. I mean, before we started Aubameyang, I still can't understand why our fans booed him. I mean, it's only about 3 years ago that he was scoring a winner for us in the FA Cup final.
Twice.
Twice. And, he's
the reason the manager's still here, mate. Let's be real.
Yeah. And that's the thing. For them to, fans to turn on Aubameyang was quite extraordinary. But then again, they have their reasons. And, the way, again, PR of the football club, if you really, really want to paint a player in a very, very bad light, leak a few stories, and then you get all these sort of stories going left, right, and centre. But then again, they'll boo Mudryk as well. I mean, Mudryk made a decision, and they said it was a waste of money.
That one surprised me even more because he's been shocking. So why are they booing him?
Yeah, but the thing with Mudryk as well is that they're booing him because the reason he chose Chelsea over us. And let's face it, man, a lot of Arsenal fans were saying what a waste of money. And they're entitled to say it's a bit of banter. But the fact is that we're willing to pay that amount of money for him. But, talking about the game, going back to the game, I was very happy with our attack in the first half. But there were certain things in the second half that reminded me and showed me why we can't win the league this season. Because there were certain things, right, where a team that's going for the titles would have put Chelsea to bed by about 6 or 7. That's how bad they were. They were there for the sake of. But what we did in the second half that I didn't like is certain players started believing their own hype. They started, instead of keeping it simple, they started, how do I say it, playing like park players. And then when you play like park players, Frank Lampard's not going to have that first half. He's going to get them to play a bit better. And we started giving the ball away. We were doing it a lot in the first half, and then we allowed them to get back in the game. Because they're devoid of any confidence and quality, they weren't, they weren't able to punish their own mistakes. But we made the game a lot closer than what it is, and that's the difference between us and Man City. The Man City are going to be playing Chelsea, I think, in about a week, maybe in a week and a half's time. They're going to show us how to beat average teams like that. They're going to probably put 6 or 7 past Chelsea because the way Chelsea are playing now, with any desire or any respect for the badge, or they know some of them are leaving. City will put 6, 7 about them. And now people say, "Well, why are you moaning? Because we've won it." And you've got a point, but we've got to look like champions. We've got to be ready.
Where was this in April? Where was this in the last 4 games?
But even so, if City, by some sort of miracle drop points, we've got to be ready, which means we've got to perform like champions. We've got to show, we've got to prove to ourselves and be ruthless. And today, I don't think we're ruthless enough. I know we won 3-1. I know Chelsea were poor, but I think, what it is that Chelsea's, kind of average display or non-display.
They look lost. Honestly, they look lost as a football player.
But it became contagious to us as well. Because Chelsea was so bad, we decided to follow suit. It wasn't all going our way. There were times when we were giving away possession, even from the goalkeeper, and they weren't good enough to punish us. So, or they just couldn't care enough to punish us. So, as much as we won 3-0, should have, if we showed a bit more 3-1. If we showed a bit more ruthlessness, we should be piping teams like Chelsea, piping them 6 or 7. That's
100%. I want to ask you as well, right? Because Trossard was our player of the month for March. He didn't get a start in April. He starts tonight, and we're thinking, cool. I thought he played all right. I thought Odegaard was our man of the match.
He should never be taken off. I thought it was a harsh one. If anyone should be taken off, it should have been the scorer of our third goal. Because what was happening is that he was, like I said, he was a bit kamikaze in terms of like his positioning, his passing, and you'd have thought that that the player that was keeping our front three together and giving us a bit of cohesion should have stayed in the field. Rather should have stayed in the field whilst we take off. Again, it's all about seniority. There's other criticisms I have as well. It was obvious from about probably the 65th minute that Gabriel Magalhaes wasn't fit to continue, but he carried on, leaving him on and leaving him on. Now, I'm not saying it would have made a difference today, but we've got Newcastle now. Now, regardless of what...
Sorry to cut you off here. He pulled up with a hamstring. He was holding his hamstring, right? And I was like, I said to Olo, I said, that's him done then. I said, that's Kivior and holding it at St James's. Yeah. But he carried on and he looked all right for a little bit. Weren't moving 100, but he looks right. Then he went down again. Then he went down again. Then he went down again. Why 4 times?
Well, see, and that's the thing.
Sub him on the second.
That's the thing. The fact is the game was won. Why risk him when you're going to need him against Newcastle? Because what's happening is that you think about a centre-half pairing of Kivior and hold it against Isak, Guimaraes, against like Murphy, and obviously against Wilson as well. Joe Linton as well. He's playing well. Again, that's going to be very difficult. You would have thought that the minute he had any sort of like knock, take him off and take a few precautions, and then make sure that he's okay for Newcastle. From now, it's touch and go. He's not going to be fit for Newcastle. And even though you're playing, he's going to be at 60%. We need players to be at 100%. So again, it's about his substitutions and about him thinking a bit more and thinking, you know what, this game's won.
Yeah.
Get him off as soon as he can. He has a knock, and then save Newcastle. Because let me tell you something now, Newcastle ain't a Chelsea. Now, if we were saying this 2 years ago, you'd have laughed at me. But Chelsea are an embarrassment to the badge. They're an embarrassment to their club. But you know what? How many times have you said that? The season afterwards, they go and win a big trophy,
Champions League or an FA Cup.
Yeah, because
I want to ask you as well. What did you make of Kivior? Because the reason I'm asking that is because I thought he was really good.
I thought he played really well.
We're playing against the 5th worst attack in terms of goals. And our fans all over social media, Kenny, I know that's a pinch of salt with these fans,
yeah.
They're gassing him up into oblivion.
Yeah, but I think what's happening is that, regardless of the opposition, who they are and how they're playing or what kind of form they bring into a football match, you still have to do your job, and you still have to be seen to do your job properly. And I think that's what we got with Kivior, is that he did the basics right. He, like I said, he knew when to get tight. He knew when to take a step back. He knew when to make the tackles, and he knew when to win his duels. And that's what you ask for a defender. And when he does well, regardless of the opposition, you've got to praise the player. And I think that's understandable. But saying that, it's a massive step up now in terms of class. Chelsea, no interest, no confidence. And like I said, and no cutting edge. Newcastle are going to have that cutting edge. So it's another test for Kivior, and you are going to have to play him. Yeah, and they have to catch us. So you're going to have to play him. But again, some of the bad habits that I've been complaining about were evident in this second half. Can't afford it at St James's Park. When they're at their pomp and they score early, they're not going to let us back in the game. Especially with their defence, because their defence is rock tight. Plus, they're playing with a bit of panache, and Isak is unplayable, and Wilson quietly is just bagging the goals. And there's players like Maximan, who was playing well before Murphy came in the team. He was doing right. And remember, they got Gordon massive signing. So looking
Even
at that,
Joe Willock against us.
well, I haven't even met Joe Willock, and I apologise to any fans of Joe Willock, because he's been fantastic this season as well, quietly getting in the box and scoring goals. So there's a team that's playing with a lot of confidence, got a lot of form, and again we're a bit lopsided. So again, we have to keep the title race interesting. We have to win on Sunday, but we're only going to win on Sunday if we do the basics right and don't get ourselves into bad habits that have basically besieged us for the last 3 months. Am I confident that we're going to be flawless? Not really, but you live in hope, because at the end of the day,
Right. Listen, Big Sam's gone to Leeds, mate, I think, yeah? So we're praying on Moisey tomorrow and Big Sam at the weekend.
But sorry to disappoint many Big Sam fans. Let's not forget, he went to West Brom from December of the 2020 to 21 season, and guess what? West Brom are in the Championship, so he's not fallible. He's not infallible, is he?
No,
he's
of course.
quite
Very quickly before we wrap this up, who was your man of the match? I'll take it was Odegaard, yeah?
Oh, Odegaard. 2 beautiful strikes, 2 great goals, and I thought he had shown a bit of control in the midfield, and with something he do. But then again, when the pressure's not on, we look like superstars.
On that bombshell, we're out of it. Get home safely, mate. I love you to bits.
Love you too. Speak to you soon. Speak to you later.